Call to order of the February 2026 Park and Recreation meeting. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, member Hunter,
Present.
Gary Key.
Yep.
Member Keller. Yep. Member Murrell.
Here.
Member Robertson.
Here.
Vice Chair Robinson.
Here.
Member Rozier.
Present.
And Council Liaison Whitman.
Right.
Okay, are there any public comments? I don't see anyone in the room, anyone online, okay. Next is the approval of minutes, so you guys have the January minutes. Are there any changes or additions that anyone wants to propose? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Sorry, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or noes? Seeing none, approved unanimously. So Dorothy will give us an Atherton Arts Foundation presentation.
So this is a quick review of 2025 and it starts with a huge thank you to the town of Atherton. Number one for the continual, and to the Parks and Rec, for the continual use of the downstairs of the main house, the new flooring and the painting of the walls. Everyone who has entered that room has noticed the difference. I mean, it's just, it's amazing, so thank you. Here is an event list of what we've done with the town. National Night Out, birthday art exhibits and art shows, artists for the town center. The fall art show was honoring the veterans and veteran family members. And there were 14 veterans showing and 15 family members of current or past veterans. Our March show, and right now I have 9 or 10 artists that have responded yes. And it will be an all-women's artist show on the weekend of International Women's Day. And that will be March 7th and 8th. And then with the library, I talked with Nick and Jenny quite a bit, like a week or two ago, and we're speaking with each other about potential art talks and for the different library events. And we'll be entering into ventures with the town library in a symbiotic relationship for co-teaching or teaching with or for the library. I know Atherton Arts does not want to be reimbursed for it, so they have to double check how that can be done because we're a 501c, and I think this is what we just need to do for the community. But you know, they've got to dot all their i's and cross their t's, so we're working with that currently. There's a variety of classes being offered. There's about 20 different classes offered in 2025, when we have over a dozen different instructors. The daily use is Saturday every week. In fact, we could use 2 Saturdays, 2 buildings on Saturdays. Sundays, we are 1 to 4 times a month. Monday, 0, depending if they're sewing, to 4 times a month. Tuesdays, 2 to 4 times a month. Every Wednesday. Thursday, a minimum of once a month. And Friday, 1 to 2 a month, and it will be starting 4 times a month in April. So there's going to be a multi-week drawing class going on every Friday. We've had over 200 unique individuals, that's a person only counted once, not multiple times attending, and these are just about halfway into last year. I started collecting everyone's roll sheets, so I could kind of keep count, just wondering how many people actually walked into that room. And with that, it's over 200. We have about 440 on our mailing list, and so that is at least half of the people who are on our mailing list have attended classes. I think that's pretty good.
Are they all adults or kids?
We are all adults now. We tried a couple of years ago with kids and the room was left a disaster. I still see red paint where I didn't know there was red paint. I just saw some today. I thought I cleaned it all up. We are going to be starting a tween class with vetted people where I know the parents or that the kids have come in to just draw with me, like when I've been there alone during the summer, and so I've taught them on my own some botanical art. And then some have taken, Pam and I taught, I made a tweed sewing class last summer, and they wanted to keep doing more. So we're going to kind of investigate it, test the water with them. But it's very hard to find a day because these kids are micromanaged. You know, they've just got something every day. It's great, it's amazing. But anyway, yes, so that's where the potential expansion for 2026 is, that's the Tween Art Club. We're gonna call it an art club rather than classes, so they don't feel like, you know, they're going to school. That it's a club that will meet, we'll have snacks, we'll play around, we'll do art with it, we'll have a variety of teachers. I've met just today a lady who will help out. She's a professional artist. And the interest is there. It's just getting the right group of kids on the right day, and that's not easy. Okay, so potential expansion stemming from last November's art show with the veterans, several of them want to keep going. And so far, I haven't gotten my act together to call them all together and find a point person for them. I won't be their point person, but I will be there present for them to meet once a quarter or once a month in the art room, and to encourage them to find different art things around the area. To increase the art classes of variety, and right now I've already jumped into a basic drawing class. I just secured that this week. The fiber art and collage, and I want to go into alcohol ink drop stuff. It's kind of cool. Maybe iPhone photography. So there's a lot we can do, but it's hard because, like I said, we could have multiple classrooms on weekends. And our picnic table in a suitable approved place, I snuck over to Will and gave him a check that Atherton Arts Foundation will be paying for the whole thing with the approval of the Parks and Rec Committee, and as a gift from a woman who was a many-year member who is deceased, and willed us some money. And so we thought that would be a nice tribute to Mary Grace, because she used to love to be outdoors in the sunshine with her big hat on. So that's where we are for 2026. Questions?
What's the picnic table? How large would it be?
It's whatever the city allows.
So,
Well,
So-
It's all, I don't know. I'm not the point person for that.
yeah, to touch base with that, we got a donation from the Atherton Arts Foundation. I'm gonna do some research. We're gonna find placement, size and everything like that, and we'll be on the agenda for next month.
Yeah.
Will went through the whole system of deciding what that would be at one point, and also what the cost would be on the donation. just
Yeah,
so
the
you know.
donation cost
Yeah.
is
Would
already.
We've done
that be
that
right outside the door, Dorothy?
No, they have to decide where it's going to be.
Well,
Where
we
it
can
used to be
we
is
can
not the
recommend
place.
that, actually.
Um,
We've done that
We've
before.
already gone out with.
We've
Atherton
done all
Art,
that. A
found
lady
one.
named Linda on the board has worked with Will extensively with that.
So we have a spot and I'll be presenting.
I'm just the education person.
Well, no, just let us know.
Oh, yeah,
what
Will
the
will.
issue is.
It's now turned over to Will.
We'll let you know next week.
Will,
Next
Will,
month,
Will,
it'll be
Will.
on the agenda.
Yeah, thank you, Walter. Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Those speakers are going in the library?
Speakers, I have already secured 2 in 2025, the last part of 2025, through the library. And then they have jumped in to that circuit because Nick, as I understand it, Nick here does a lot of events coordinating with the San Mateo County libraries of all over. And one of the ladies, Joan Sparks, who is a natural wildlife photographer, has been to Brisbane, has been to Portola Valley, has been to Half Moon Bay. And then also now Santa Clara libraries have gotten the knowledge of her doing this. And so she has gone multiple places all over to the peninsula, giving her talks, and her next jump is going to be onto cruise ships. So thank you, Town of Atherton, for that. And another one is a lady who does, who's a friend of mine also, who does the composite drawing for the forensic department at San Francisco Police Department. And she gave a talk. I happened to be in St. Paul the weekend that that they did that, but she's now gonna be teaching a class and has also been asked to go to some other libraries. And I've got some ideas for 2026, you know, the history of paper, the history of bookmaking, natural paint, soil, how to make your own paints and stuff. And I just bring all of this information to Nick, and then he takes the next step. The history of botanical art. So I try and think of something interesting, or maybe people would be interested in.
This is really impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, you run the whole thing. That's impressive.
She's been in for TAG for what, how many years now, about 5?
500.
2014.
Oh, it's been more.
Not
14,
500.
15. The Owens were in it, and then when they stepped aside, then I took it over with the
Is
education.
that 14?
Yeah, well, no, Ted and Betty left maybe closer to 17.
18 too.
Yeah, because they didn't like education, they just like doing other things. And I tried to bring it back to what Rita Corbett Evans had when she donated her house to the town, and it was a community of artists within our community, reaching out to artists in other communities for a place to grow, teach, and support each other. So that's what I've tried to bring it back to.
So there are no speakers in the library now, and there's gonna be speakers?
I have no idea, I'm not in charge of the speakers in the library. I just give ideas to Nick, who is the event coordinator for the library.
If they have them in the library system, they can get them down here. We're part of the Peninsula Library System, so anything that's in any of the
Any-
member libraries can be asked to be sent down here. And when they're free, then they would send them down on a priority basis.
I'm not on the Friends of the Library Committee. Just Nick and Jenny have come to me and said, do you have ideas? And I've said, let me put my thinking cap on, and I've come up with ideas, and I have more ideas for them. And they said, just give me the ideas and the contact, and they'll take it from there. So I'm not in charge of any of it, I just splurt out ideas as they come, and I just type them out to Nick.
So the library will have speakers already in their system that do it, and so they'll ask them to come. They may get paid an honorarium, I'm not sure, but it's between them and the library. The Friends also do speakers as well, with usually local people. But the Friends don't generally pay them an honorarium, but they do host, a get together with some food for people who come to the talk, and then usually give a thank you gift to the speaker too.
Yeah, everyone has their own thing.
Yeah.
Atherton Arts is basically art shows and art education, but that doesn't mean we don't help with other things too.
Where do you stand, Dorothy, on that issue of having some of your paintings up into the main room and then being worried about that?
Where that is here is I would love to put them all back in. They're still sitting, they're all covered with sheets and blankets and resting on pillows in one of the back bedrooms in my house, until we have someone up there that will be able to check the day that a renter comes in, and then the hours after they leave, to be sure nothing has been damaged.
Maybe we should just have cameras, indoor cameras running all the time and recording.
We talked about
that possibility.
Yeah,
I mean, just general security as well
Yep.
as.
and that has to go through the town.
But it shouldn't be difficult.
But I thought you were also concerned about damage happening.
Oh, it has
Just
happened.
because you have a camera doesn't mean you're gonna be
Right,
able
but
to
at
solve
least we
that problem.
can target who did it.
Yeah, and they would see that the camera's there, so they would know they
Well,
were.
that's right.
Hopefully it would be a deterrent.
A big sign, huh?
Yeah, hopefully it's a deterrent. Yes, we've had one painting stolen, we've had one painting damaged, and we've had paintings taken off and set on the floor.
So none of them are up now.
Correct. The ones that the city own are, and I'm working with the town history, and I'm finding history of the donors. You're one of them, you donated, I've got the little plaque. But I'm trying to get some information and do research on who the artist was. So I can type this all up with a picture of it and give it to the Historic Society. So they have a list of the original paintings that the town has.
Bill, what would be the process to get the cameras approved to put in there?
It'd have to be budgeted, and that's in March, or it has to be an unbudgeted thing. I'll mention it to Robert or Ron.
Will, I think we have some in the park already.
Yeah,
Could you
monitor
determine
from the
what the
police
cost
department.
perhaps would be to have a couple more in there in the house?
The ones that are in the park are monitored by the police department, so I'm not sure if it would be a separate system or tied in with their system, so. I'd have to find out, I'll talk to Robert about it.
No,
Do
thanks.
you want me to agendize it for next meeting?
Probably should.
Okay, sure. Dorothy, what percentage of the students or are residents?
Actual true residents in Atherton. I can start with the board, and I think all but two are members of Atherton. Actual in the class, I don't ask where they're from. But I can if you'd like me to,
No, it's okay.
yeah.
I'm just curious.
It'd be good to know that,
I don't know,
Dorothy.
it would be real curious to know that.
Yeah.
I know in the botanical art, there are several, but I also have them from Mountain View, Foster City, San Mateo. Some as far away as the East Bay, but they don't come much, or Santa Cruz happen to be, but it's basically, I'm gonna say Redwood City, Menlo Park, and Atherton. Wouldn't you say it's true?
Yep. One, Lori's from Sunnyvale,
Yes,
but it's
yeah.
most are.
But it's, there are a lot of Athertons. Athertonians, oh, and, I've mentioned to the, Lindenwood homeowners group, when they put up in their next letter in April to do a write-up on the Atherton Arts Foundation. So it gets more advertisement that way of what we do, and I'm also going to mention in that article, remember people, we have an incredible park to use with renting facilities available. So it will be a plug for not just Atherton Arts, but
The artwork you plan to display, is it just gonna be in the main house, or was Jennings and the carriage house also being considered?
no, Carriage House, no, Jennings House, no.
Okay, just the main.
Just the main house, because it can be such, it is such a beautiful living environment that it makes it very home-like in there. And I really want to maintain, would like the town to maintain, I don't want to do it, maintain one room as like, actually show and tell history of the Holbrook Palmer people and there's some artifacts, and they've all been tipped over because of movement and stuff. There's no one there monitoring it, and I don't have keys to go into the cabinets and dust them and clean them and stand them upright. But there are, when Marguerite Wheaton went up there one day with me, she went, "Oh my gosh, those are the cereal bowls I had. Oh my gosh, look in this cabinet, there's a book signed by Olive." And these are the type of things I think would be very valuable to have, and I'm going to, list them for
Well, why don't you talk to Marian Oster?
I have, I'm working with her and Rick and Patty Lugers.
So when we discuss this next month about cameras, we'll just keep it to the main house. I think that's what
Yeah.
we're all interested in. Okay. Is there any public stuff? Okay. Any other discussion on this topic? Thank you, Gordon.
You're welcome.
We shall move on to 5A, Carriage House renovations. The subcommittee that doesn't exist, but I will just open it up for anyone who wants to ask or bring up the discussion about Carriage House renovations. What would you like to say something?
Well, where did we stand with our budget process on being able to allocate something there? Sounded like we may have to put something in for the following fiscal year, if we're lucky. But the question is, if we can't get a bathroom done there after 3 years, it's gonna be kind of difficult to move ahead very easily. What we were looking for was to dig up the plans that Frank and I remember are out there. But
Well, that
nobody's
was,
come forth with those.
15
I
years
think
ago.
the town would
This is
have those.
Mrs. Massetti has.
No, it was, Denise Cupham.
Well, no, but when the presentation was made to the council, Susan,
Okay.
okay? And, it was both a top floor and bottom floor, which, raised the price quite a bit because you have a second floor, then for ADA requirements, you then had to put in a elevator, which, you know, then kind of violates the historical aspects of the building. And so when I've had conversations about this with George, you know, his thought would be, you know, perhaps sometime we would just do something at the bottom floor.
Sure.
Okay? While protecting the horse store, you know, stalls and things like that. But there's no money to do it. At the time that we were looking at it with what Susan presented, it was, and this was years ago, it was, I think, $3 to $5 million or something like that.
I think that's
So
right. We had
now
the same
that's-
architect as Wonderlook Park.
Excuse me?
We had the same contract, same architects that did Wonderlook Park.
Right, that's exactly right.
Which maintained all that historical part
Yeah,
you're talking about.
Right, and so, so that was, you know, to get it built at that time,
Right.
it's probably, well, more than that, probably 3 times that price, probably $6 to $10 million. Because
Well,
you're gonna have to do it with an artisan who will produce everything in a period of time, because it's now been a historic.
but I would hope that the downstairs would be less than 50% because the upstairs created so many issues at that point. So the question is, I think, how do we find the plans? And I'll contact Susan,
Yeah,
but it should be in the council records if she made a presentation.
well, she did make a presentation, but you should probably get it.
It'll
from
be
Susan.
there, yeah.
Get it from Susan and,
Yeah.
you know, you
We'll pin
all
down
can
the
bring
date.
it up to, the budget process starts in March.
Right.
And it goes on for several months.
We heard the first round at the last meeting, Bill.
Well, the next round of, you know, for the council,
Right.
the first one is to discuss, you know, where we are on the budget. Then after that, we start talking about operations and revenue. The last thing that, which probably would be late April, probably May, is when we do the CIP. So that's when that needs to really be hammered out, if in fact, if you want to go forward with it.
So if,
So why don't we put it on next?
Yeah, we'll
month
put it on
and
next
see if we can
month.
find-
and if anyone has those plans, we can
Well, I'll
start.
contact Susan.
Yeah.
If we pin down the date, then the people in the town should be able to find
Yeah.
that. So,
And then just let me know that if you found it or not, and if we do, then we can discuss it at the next meeting.
you know, we'll-
I don't recall there were handouts. It was, she made a presentation. So I'm not sure we necessarily have.
well, I remember there were specific architectural.
Yeah, so I know
plans.
that, I agree.
I'm not
But
disputing it, I'm just saying that
I'm
there's
not
something
saying
there.
it wasn't a staff item. She brought it up as it was a public, you know, discussion. Check with her first.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on this topic?
I just have a question. When you're renewing the carriage house, does that have anything to do with the water pump house also? Because there's missing shingles.
The water tower? you mean?
Yeah, the water tower.
I don't think so. I think
It's
The
just-
roof is a separate thing.
That's its own entity.
We already addressed that with Will.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something
he's
I'm
on
still
top of
looking
that.
into. Well,
Are there any public comments?
Wait, the water tower, what did you ask? You asked about,
If the water tower was part of any renovation. Because it's kind of moving along in the tooth.
right, but that would be a completely
That's
separate
a totally separate. issue.
structure to address, but I was gonna ask about that too, but given that what you just remembered about the estimate for the carriage house, I kind of crossed that off my list, because that's probably
Yeah, the water tower wasn't included in what Susan
Right.
brought forward, so, you know, that'd be a separate thing. I would think that if the building is deteriorating, we want to maintain it, obviously, so that would be
It's
something that, you know, Robert and Will would have for input into the budget.
That was one thing as well. Thanks.
Anything else on this topic? If not, let's move on to pickleball. Don?
Sure. So, going back in time, a month and a half ago or so, we met with Saviano and he gave us an estimate for a cement version would be about $200,000 to do the 2 pickleball courts near the track. And if we did it asphalt instead, it was $150,000. We then realized at the last meeting that that estimate was to have those positioned sort of the easiest way possible to get the construction done, but it would be closest to the back corner of the park, so very close to the house.
Yeah, Felton Gables.
Yeah, Felton Gables. So we went, Alex and I met with Saviano a week and a half ago or so to give us an updated estimate to the extent he could of moving that 1 court over, in effect, putting it where there's a current small shed and a couple of trees that would have to be taken out. And without giving us a real specific guidance, he basically said it'd be another 50K. So instead of 150, it'd be 200 or 250. And then last time we also said that didn't include the soundproofing, maybe a couple other things. So the 200 and 250 maybe is 225, 250, and 300. And then where we left that was to approach the potential donor. I don't know whether that's happened yet or not, to see if that donor is still interested. And I'm not, we haven't heard an update on that.
Yeah, but I think Rick's supposed to talk to her to find out. So the most of the higher cost is because it's a little more elevated. So Saviano would have to go dig out dirt and haul it away. Then also put up kind of walls against the remaining dirt, so provide support. And then also have to demo the shed, and then not included would be probably a new place to put a shed and buy a new shed for. I think that's being used by tennis.
It's being used by the tennis people. I got a ball machine in there and a number of other things, so.
So it might be a little bit more with that additional cost having to get them.
You can't destroy the pathway because kids use that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so it has to be maintained.
It's not guaranteed we'd be able to move it all the way in line with the first court, but as much as possible. And so that's why the estimate's very rough. Because he didn't do an exact measurement of how much the edge of the path, because the path kind of curves and it moves a little closer and closer, so there might be a point where you can't fit the court in anymore, so they have to not make it totally in line with the last court closest to Watkins.
And what's the projected usage? Because the usage has gone down, which is the last meeting I was at, you guys even acknowledged that the usage was gone down since other courts were being opened up. That was like 2 or 3 months ago.
Well, it's.
And the usage has continued to go down. Now, obviously, the weather hasn't been very good in January, but then you're gonna have 6 courts and you have usage for 6 courts, or would you just need 5? I guess that's
Yeah,
something.
Or just those 2. It's possible again, if you just have 2 and then people just play around those times. I know it seems to be sometimes all 4 courts want to be used in the mornings on like Saturdays or something like that. That's.
I think if it was a choice between existing 4 or construct 2 new, I don't think there'd be support to construct 2 new.
You don't think that?
I don't think there'd be support to go from 4 to 2 and spend money to do that.
But let's see what happens during the summer. Summer's the high time when both tennis and pickleball players want to play.
I think the contemplation was we would always have the court being a variable court where it is now. But obviously everybody would be pushed towards the 2 new courts, which I think they would like anyway. And therefore we'd have very limited time when pickleball would be on the current shared court. But I think Bill is right. I haven't checked myself, but every time I've looked over there, they're never using even 4 courts. But I think, Bill, the answer is, we have a donor. And so, as you know, when you have money in your pocket, you tend to use it. And I think that's where we started here. Plus, I think there's this concept, Don can correct me, that those courts are a lot nicer to play on, which are individual courts. You don't have the ball flopping into the other court. You don't have issues like that. That's my impression anyway.
Yeah, I would say the existing 4 courts is a huge improvement, and it's terrific that we've done that, so. Do we need the extra 2 courts? It's a good question.
Have there been any issues with the tennis? I mean, I know we kind of went through all that before we turned them into pickleball courts, but have there been any issues with tennis not having that?
Not that I've heard.
And
And
my,
the usage in the tennis courts is down too.
I think it's just winter.
So that's part of it. January was a very bad month, okay? It was raining every day, just about. It's like living in England.
I think, Julie, the answer is, once we put in 4 courts and we've allowed anybody to use those courts at a time when they're not either purely tennis or they're not purely pickleball, that resolved the issue. We then took, with Michael's agreement, we decided exactly when there might be a conflict. So that on the weekend, we then very carefully changed that around. So I think to say there is an issue, but we think we've got it resolved now, but we'll find out as we get into the high pickleball season here for the next 6 months, I think.
Yeah, and Michael has said that he wants to be able to give lessons, but the challenge has always been there weren't enough courts, and we wanted to. But now with 4, maybe even 6, he'll have the opportunity to bring on a pickleball instructor and then offer those lessons. So that will take up some of the usage, because I know that we had a lot of problems earlier with having a non-allowed instructor teaching pickleball. Certainly Michael wasn't happy with that. And so there is a demand for someone to give pickleball lessons, and Michael's our vendor to do that. And hopefully he'll be able to find someone to offer those now that we have more courts built. But we can ask Michael next time he sees it.
Okay. Pickleball pro, can't have it.
Is that player capital agreement up for renewal?
No, a couple more years, I think.
Every year, I believe the town has the ability to cancel it if they want, but it kind of automatically renews if they don't give notice.
Well, actually, it's a 2-year plus 1-year renewals, which is in effect now. There is a termination provision, but it doesn't
That's
come
right.
up every year. It comes up anytime.
Yeah.
They can
That's
terminate it.
The normal.
But basically, I think we have essentially a handshake with Michael, that he has a 4-year deal. So I think this 2 years may come up this September. So then we would go on to the 1-year renewals at that point. But I think in order to renegotiate, for instance, price, you would have to terminate and start over again, which I think would be, in my view, bad faith with Michael.
Every one of the contracts the town has a 30-day notice cancellation.
Exactly, that's a typical provision.
Though I don't think the issue is the price, that Don might be more interested in other instructors and such.
Well, I talked to Michael about that. Michael would be very interested in, just like he was for tennis, to be exclusive on pros for teaching, and that would bring in additional revenue to the city.
Yeah.
But I know that one of my previous meetings here with y'all talked about, and we talked about it at the council meeting, whether or not people could bring in their own pros. I personally think we should just have one. We should maximize what we're getting out of it.
Yeah.
If you want my personal opinion, I would like to maximize, Michael's the guy, then Michael's the guy. And because we don't get anything when somebody brings their own private guy.
Yeah, and there's insurance issues too.
Yeah.
You have to make sure they're shared and.
Yeah, so, you know, it could be a problem for the town, and the town is leaving money on the table. So,
Yeah.
no, I'm just one vote, you know, but that's my 2 cents.
That makes sense. I think the instructor thing is kind of manageable, as you just described. The issue that I see is on Saturdays, basically tennis non-player capital gets pretty squeezed down to 1 court. Because player capital is using 4 and sometimes 5 courts all the time.
Yeah, I talked to Michael about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that that's a problem. And we've asked, and I've spoken to George, and George has spoken to him as well, is that he, even during the week, he's got 3 out of 4 courts allocated to himself.
Right.
And then sometimes they get released like the day before, or even that day, when somebody, hey, you know, I can't get on the courts now. And so I made other plans. So yes, it's a problem, and we have spoken to him. It's not resolved, but it needs to be resolved.
We've asked Michael actually to release those courts earlier on. And Bob, you can say, is there really a conflict with Michael taking too many so that you and?
No, there's
can't
nobody
play?
that polices whether the person that signed up for the court is gonna use it.
Yeah.
So you go there, and if nobody shows up, then you take the court. That's basically the way it works, and they have most of the courts, a lot of the time, with lessons. And if I don't get I can go 1 week, and if I miss that last week by 1 day, it's taken by somebody for tennis at the time that I want to play.
Well, it's very clear in the contract or the arrangement. As Bill says, it's exactly what it is. He has a maximum of 4. So there's always going to be 2 courts there. One of them may be pickleball, but only during certain times. So the tennis players have 2 courts available as long as they,
And they usually generally only are using
in the
2.
summer.
They generally only use 2. I walk by there all the time and I see where they're giving, if they have 3, that's a lot. Most of the time it's 2. They
Yeah,
use
but-
2 courts, and it's like, well, where, the other
Okay.
people didn't show up because they
But
didn't
when
know
you-
they were open.
But when you try to use your ability to,
Reserve.
to reserve the court, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's already blacked off.
Yeah,
You
so it
can't
just
get-
needs
you
to be
can't get-
addressed.
Can't get your name on the court.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And the clay court still sits unused.
well, not unused. I've seen it used many times now by Michael with the kids. I've seen players play on
That's
that.
usually
From a
because,
percentage
that's
usage.
usually because he can't use the other court. The other courts are already used. So then he goes to the clay. But most of, well, when I play, I only play 3 times a week, but the 6 hours I play per week, the clay court is never used.
And the data, when you look at the usage from the actual reservations, the clay is significantly less than all the other courts.
That doesn't have Michael's
There's
use of the clay
zero.
court on there.
Today, they're,
We pinned that down, I think, before.
We did, okay, but I mean, it means recreational use, it's very low. If it's if it's only for the benefit of Michael, then we should say, Michael, you cannot reserve your 4th court unless it's a clay court, you have to use the clay court. I mean, if he wants it that bad, then, and the recreational players want the hard court, then he should take the clay court as his 4th court, he can't reserve a 4th hard court.
I have a question about the reservations, and you may know, is there a wait list? So if someone doesn't show 10 minutes after the hour, the first person on the wait list can jump in
well,
there?
there was at the beginning of this thing, there was a thing that said if you went 10 minutes past it, and nobody was on it, then anybody could take it. But they don't take their name off. So when you look at the thing, it looks like there's gonna be somebody coming and playing. You have to come and find
You have
out.
to come and wait.
You
I
have
was
to come
gonna say,
and
just
see if
coming to wait and see
nobody's
if-
there. So you
Yeah.
can
And if someone's there, then you can't play.
If someone's ever tough toenails, you made the
You
trip
get
to
on
the
the
park
clay
by
court.
yourself.
Yeah.
There was nobody on the play or
Back
on
to-
Friday or Monday or Wednesday.
Back to Alex's point though, because I don't think we finished that. You make your comment again about the clay court and.
I was just saying maybe the 4th court that Michael should use is the clay court for his reservations. because he's the main advocate for it. I don't think any of the recreational players fully want it, so I don't know if we have to say that specifically in the contract that the 4 courts he can use, and I think he's only allowed to use 4 courts on 6 of the days. And I can't remember if it's Saturday or Sunday where he's only allowed to use 3 courts. But I remember the contract, one of the days he is only allowed to use 3 courts. To say in the contract or just informally, if he wants 4 courts, 4th one has to be a court.
On the weekend also.
Anytime,
Anytime.
yeah. Because he's the main advocate for it.
Yeah. Good one.
Yeah, that's currently, it's just left open a lot of it.
Well, in January,
People don't
it
want
was
to play.
used for 9 hours. December, 15 hours, November, 6 hours. October, 22 hours. Last July, 64, that was the high point in the last 12 months.
So, Will, what's the best way to like maybe communicate that to Michael informally, or do we? I don't know if you want to talk to Robert to make this part of his next contract renewal.
Yeah.
Or
I'll bring it up to Robert and we'll discuss.
Yeah.
And just to be specific, I think the issue there is when the courts are in demand, like whether it's Saturday or another day, basically tennis has 1 court and the pickleball folks have 1 court, and you can see that tennis is using the entire court. And so it's hard for tennis players to get a court like you just described. And it's great that we got 4 pickleball courts, but it's funny to me that we've got 6 courts and we're squeezing out people able to play on the busy times. So I think that's what needs to be fixed.
yeah, I mean, if we can think about it and try to think, what's a good solution. I'll look at the contract again, because if he's only allowed to have 3 courts on Saturdays, then that will be.
Virtually all the time has 4 courts on Saturdays.
Well, if he's only allowed to have it 3 courts on Saturdays, then maybe we have to just tell him to stop reserving 4 courts on Saturdays. So I'll take a look at that, at the contract here somewhere. And I'll let you know, Will.
Okay, sounds good.
Anything else on it? Any public comment? No. Anything else on pickleball topics?
So what is the future of the handball court that construction? Is that just on hold or?
So, we've got the estimate. Do you wanna talk to Rick or let Rick know and then find out from Rick if he got to talk to the donor?
At the last meeting, Rick is gonna go talk to the
Oh,
donors,
that's right,
so.
okay. It's dependent on that.
Yeah,
whether
and
it moves
then
forward or not.
if that person says, I'll pay for the whole thing, or I'll pay for a portion of it, then they need to figure out what to do.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that was assigned to Goya at the last meeting.
And he said that to me at the library or at the history room on Tuesday. That was, he was gonna go talk to the donor.
Okay.
Got it.
So next meeting, we'll bring this back and then hopefully, Rick will have talked to the donor. Okay?
Yes, someone should talk to them and tell them we expect to hear from the.
Well, he knows, we,
We did it 4 weeks ago,
Yeah,
so let's
but-
not wait another 4 weeks.
well, but. So if Will informs the entire committee of the plan of what's gonna happen, Rick either has a yes or no, we still have to come back next month to talk about it, right? Unless the council wants to proceed and just immediately go like, hey, we're doing this, and then they don't need us anyway. But yeah, our next opportunity to talk will be next month, so.
But in the meantime, we have a subcommittee, and we will try to
Yeah, if you guys,
move this forward and find out where they stand exactly between Rick and the donor.
okay, we are now on the agenda 5C, other capital projects.
Yeah, so just to give you guys a couple updates that I have. Jennings Pavilion, obviously the lighting's on hold right now. Anthony's working with all of the other things that he presented last month. So as soon as we get more information about that, I'll let you guys know. I talked to Robert, he gave me a brief update, as concerning the playground. the contract's been, or it's been approved, the contract's now with the contractor for the playground. And so they're still working on stuff, so there's no definitive date for that. The contract for Romtech, who's doing the bathroom, has been approved. And it's been finalized and it's with them, and now they're in their design phase to do the construction drawing. So hopefully that will be completed in the next month or two. So that's where we stand on that. There's no ETA on groundbreaking or anything like that. Yeah, that's all I have right now.
So you said for the playground, there's still, whatever.
The contract is with the contractor.
Okay.
So they're still working everything out with that.
They haven't put out a bid yet, you say?
Yeah, they're still working.
Oh,
with
they're
the
still working, and
contractor.
then when do you expect they'll have a?
He didn't have an answer for me.
Well, I thought we had essentially a bid from those people. We
Yeah,
worked with them
the
for 2
company
years.
that's doing it, yeah, we have a company that's doing it, but they're working out the contract part of it.
Company doing what? A company
The
doing what?
playground,
The design work?
yeah, the company that's doing the playground, they're working on, with a contractor and finalizing the contract. That's all that Robert had for me.
Is it gonna be a no bid contract, so we already have the contract?
I don't know, I can ask Robert much.
It was a no bid because we were dealing with a contract that had been approved, I thought, or maybe that's the bathroom, but either way, I thought we had these people pinned down about a year ago.
I'm losing faith that we'll have this done by the beginning of summer, so, it's gonna probably be a fall project. Okay, I guess we'll hear back next month.
Yeah.
And then, are there any is there anything else or?
Nothing else that I have.
I'm sorry, what happened to the bathroom?
The bathroom, Romtech, everything's been approved and finalized, they're now doing their construction drawing. And they should have all those completed in the next month or two, Robert said.
And so that would be groundbreaking then?
No, that would be the construction drawings and everything done, and then I think then we would have, because they're only doing the design and the supply. So after the construction drawings and everything done, then we would go look for a contract.
Take a long time.
Yeah, and at least I'm guessing the park bathrooms won't be stalled in the summer because typically the construction firms that work on playgrounds, they're all taken up by schools, so at least that would be able to proceed.
That should be able to figure that.
I have a minor thing about Jennings Pavilion, which we talked about, seems really minor, but I don't know where to bring it up. Is there any way to get Jennings Pavilion on the cleaning schedule? Because the library has a yoga class in there, but that building isn't, I guess,
Yeah, so
It's
the
never
Jennings
clean.
Pavilion, the main house upstairs, and the carriage house. I'm sorry, the carriage house so the carriage house and then the downstairs of the main house, they're on the schedule because they're used all the time. The rental facilities are not on the cleaning schedule, it's an as needed basis. But there is a chance we're looking into adding more,
Okay.
because once usage picks up, then that will be, right now, it's just after events. I have had my MCE crew now Wednesday or Thursday mornings now, starting this week, because I know last week we missed it, I got your email. They'll be wiping down the floor. and
right,
cleaning.
it's just the floors.
Did you say it's because of the library?
So the library, no, the library, it's a wonderful thing. They
Yeah.
moved the yoga from the side of the library to Jennings Pavilion, which
Okay,
is
so
fabulous.
so the library fund should pay for it. So that's where that money should come out of, is the library operating fund.
Yeah, no, the problem is not to get it cleaned, it's just that the Jennings Pavilion is not cleaned on a regular basis. It's not part of it's an as needed.
Yeah, I know, I understand, but the cost should come from the library.
If there's an additional cost,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a
Oh,
great
well,
service and it's a full class, and
There-
it's just that the floor is never cleaned.
Yeah, I got it. But it's not free when we add something to it.
Right, of course.
But it'll come out of the library fund, so it shouldn't be a problem.
What was the status on the lighting for Jimmy Pavilion?
Right now, it's on hold until Anthony figures out all those.
Oh, all the
things.
AV
Yeah, we
stuff.
can't do
Oh,
anything
yeah.
with the light until they figure out their sound panels.
And the
everything.
soundproofing and.
Wow.
Because that proposal was made to the council and
We only approved the Nexus screen,
just the screening of this.
just option one.
So then there's nothing for Anthony to consider then, and then he can just,
Yeah, I haven't heard,
okay.
I don't know if that happened today, I don't know.
There's a, no, the council meeting, last council meeting that we were at. I'll look it up for
Yeah,
you.
if there's only this, so Anthony already got direction, and if it's only the screen, then he should be able to let you know that you can proceed with
Yeah, I'll talk to
funding.
Yeah,
Any questions or comments from the meeting? Are there anything online?
Nothing on that.
Okay. Why don't we move to the Brightview?
The QSA is in the handout I gave you, if you have questions on that.
Is the eucalyptus tree going to be removed?
yes, $50,000 for that,
Wow.
plus other.
Which one?
Which ones?
$34,000 or $35,000 to remove the eucalyptus tree, eucalyptus tree, and then there's some other trimming that needs to be done. And that was announced today.
Which eucalyptus tree?
The one that
by
fell on the
by
building.
the courtyard.
Okay.
Fell on the courtyard.
The one in the middle or the one next?
No, the one that fell like in the front, you know, kind of.
Okay, so right outside.
Yeah.
Not the ones on the lawns.
No, this is the one that's inside the yard of the communication, the courtyard.
Oh, it's inside the property.
Yeah, it's the one that fell and.
Oh, yeah. Is it because Sally looked at it and saw that it's?
Yeah, it's already having issues and stuff, and just to get rid of it because it might cause more damage, you know.
Yeah.
$8,000 for things.
I mean, all eucalyptus.
Yeah.
But it's very expensive to remove them.
Yeah. But the other eucalyptus was in fair health. And
Yeah, fair enough, and they trimmed it last year.
Okay, so at the last meeting, we had a three-phase thing that we were choosing for the Jennings Pavilion. Phase one was the, yeah, and the Zoom capability, you know, so they could do that. Phase two was, high luminosity projector that did not get approved. It says we'll wait for that. And phase three was outdoor speakers, and we said, well, that could become problematic with the neighbors, we'll wait on that. So we just approved phase one.
Nice one, okay. So that means, yeah, if Anthony.
So that means they're moving forward with it, they have to get a contract, they gotta find the vendor and all that other stuff, yeah.
Okay. But phase one is just the board, so that's. I
The
mean, that's just-
board and it says a projector.
And a projector. Okay. It doesn't sound too tough. Okay, and anything on the Brightview? Okay. Why don't we move on to the Park Foundation report?
I just have one question. Will we be able to look at any more of those wrought iron benches?
No, I haven't thought yet, no, I have to talk to Robert about this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still on my list.
Walt, do you have anything we need to,
No, go ahead.
no, I don't have anything to, I don't know what else.
That was basically what we were looking for.
That's all we were looking for. Yeah, okay, that's it from Park Foundation.
Park Division and Park Defense report.
So as far as the park reports, we did some minor repairs. We did some cleaning of the carriage house gutters. Still working on the playground bathroom. We did some additional fence repairs and heightening of the fences at the play school. We continue to work on the fountain as much as we can. We're not finding any way to resolve the algae issue in there. But we try to stay on top of cleaning debris and stuff out of it. As far as rentals and everything, January was kind of a wash month. There wasn't much going on. I think, we only brought in about $185 for the whole month. A lot of rain, no events or anything like that after the holidays. Tennis, kind of went over that information, pretty much staying on, basically the same stuff as the month before.
Have we chosen a event?
So as far as the event manager, the information that I have is, they did a tasting last week. Now it is The contract is under negotiation, so there's nothing that we can really talk about until it's all resolved and goes public, and then the Parks and Rec committee will know.
And then, once the negotiation is resolved, it will go to the council to approve, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And no expectation yet on which meeting.
No, nothing was.
Which of these are you negotiating with?
What's that?
Which of the
The two vendors.
two are you negotiating with?
Yeah, right now, that's as much information as Robert's going to talk about, so.
Well, Bill, can you respond?
No, not until the negotiations are done.
What'd you think of the food?
The food of the tasting, I thought that it was very well done.
Was the tasting done with both or just with one?
What we just did with the one to start with.
That's
yes.
what I thought. So you're negotiating after tasting with only one. That gives me some information.
Well,
that
no,
one would
if you can't
think the
come to,
public would have
if you
a
can't
time
come
to
to an
be entitled
agreement,
to.
well, if you can't come to an agreement, then you have to work with the other one.
Fine.
Okay, so that's why, at this point in time, there's nothing to report. And that's where we are. I'm sorry, I wish we could give you more. But the city is working it as fast as they can, and they're working it in the manner that they are told to work it, based on our attorney and everything.
I believe you and Elizabeth are the committee, right? That's working on that?
Yes, we were.
Okay, were you both advised that in fact this group had formally asked that we have some input and that there was a subcommittee approved to work with you?
You
I so informed you, actually.
Yeah, I know you did. I didn't
Okay.
say that you didn't.
Okay. If you have any, I'm just responding, but if you have anything you'd like us to do, we'd be more than happy to do
No, we
that.
don't need you to do anything.
We, in fact, are supposed to represent more the community. So that is why we thought maybe you'd like to have, and we've also dealt with the caterer now for many years. And we will have that responsibility, I think, once it comes.
You
So that
didn't
was the
have-
only reason
You
for
didn't
our
have the
suggestion.
responsibility for selecting the last caterer either. Okay, it was a council decision. And I will tell you, Walt, the people on the council were elected by the people in this town. You were appointed.
That's why you also have input from your committees. That's why we exist.
And
quite
we
frankly.
appreciate your input. We're not saying that we don't. However, Walt, that doesn't mean that if you feel that you need to be involved in something and the council and the city manager say you don't, that it's a discussion item. It's done.
Okay.
I appreciate all the times you came in to see me and all the calls and the letters, et cetera. Okay, thank you very much. But I can't change what the situation is. That's where it is. And I really would
Yeah.
appreciate we just stop talking about it.
I had a question about the Sacred Heart all park rental. Are they renting the entire park? for the
Yeah,
whole-
they do it every year. Sacred Heart, they rent out like Jenny's Pavilion, the fields and stuff like that.
Is it still open to the public?
Yeah, it's still,
Oh.
they just use some of the areas for stuff, yeah.
And then how much do you charge for it?
I don't have it on top of my head, I can find out from
Okay.
Michael.
Okay. Wait, Michael? Oh, Michael.
Michael, yeah, our.
Not Michael.
Yeah, not tennis
Okay.
Michael.
Yeah, I'd be curious, because that's, I've never seen that.
Well, we used to have it all. We
The
used
first
to
time I
have
noticed.
Facebook, Google, they rented the whole park and they had guards at the gate, not letting people in. And that's why we decided that we would not really do that again.
But-
Sacred Heart is a special
Because
case.
they're in the town.
They're part of the town, yes.
Any other questions or comments?
Nothing online.
Nothing online. Okay, any comments from the committee members?
Who handles the dedicated benches that people can buy?
Goes through
Goes through,
me, the same thing, the donation has to go through, there's a
Okay.
certain dollar amount, you have to fill out application.
thank you.
Sure. I have a list of that stuff I can send to you if you wanna know the prices and stuff.
Oh, that would be great.
Are there any other comments or questions? Or I guess it's any individual member comments. If not, we can, next meeting will be March 4th, 6:30. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Okay.